Some people are complaining that they are buying sheep from the village. Therefore, it has to be very cheap. Now, let me break the ice. For those of you who are buying cow, who are buying goats or sheep from the village and you are expecting to be very cheap, I'm sorry, it will not be cheap. And let me give you the biggest reason. There's a huge risk in buying sheep, goat or cow from the village. The question is, are you ready to take care of the risk? Are you ready to face that big challenge of buying the sheep from the village? You don't know the challenge, right? The challenge is death. The sheep, the goat, the cow you are buying from the village, it can have an accident. Something can happen to it and it will die. The question is, are you ready to say that, oh, the money you have used to buy it, it has shit because the sheep has died on the road. Are you ready? If you are not ready to take care of the cost, probably if something happened to the animal, you are not ready, and you will not agree, and you will fight, then you need to know that you are not qualified to buy a livestock from a long distance. That is the main reason why you need to buy from me. So for people who buy from me, when something happens to the livestock, I take care of it. So if I'm taking care of it, you need to know that I'm a business person. So I put everything into calculation. So before I put out price. So if you are buying a livestock from a long distance and you are buying it from me, you need to know that I'm making a huge sacrifice for you. That see, the driver is not ready to take care of the cost. You, the buyer, is not ready to take care of the cost. And me, the seller, I want to keep you the buyer. I want you to trust in me. I want you to be happy in the transaction. That is why I take care of the cost for you. So with this, do you think it's a good business or it's a bad business? Kindly leave your opinion or your comment in the comment section so I could learn from you. And I've not made it public, but in most cases, I take care of it. Some customers will say, oh, Sadat, I know it's a big loss. Let me also cover a part of it. But most, they don't care. The thing is that the person has paid for the sheep, the person has to receive the sheep. They don't care whatever happened to the sheep on the road, whether it dies on the road or it gets, no, they don't give a shit. So there's a big risk in buying sheep from the village into the town. There was a time that somebody bought a sheep and is going to Kumasi. And something happened to the sheep. The sheep that is about to die on the road. And then the driver sold the sheep to someone to buy. And a sheep that I was selling 1,500 Ghana cedis. The driver sold it. He has no choice. He sold it for 300 Ghana cedis. Imagine. So I've made a loss of 1,200. And notwithstanding, I've also paid for the transportation, which is 120 cedis. So I've made a loss of over 1,300. Almost, it was crazy. And again, I have told the buyer that, hey, this happened to your sheep. But don't worry, I'll get similar one of the same size and weight and everything and send it to you. And that is exactly what I did. And I forwarded it to the buyer. The buyer doesn't care. He doesn't know that I've done something good for him. Or probably even if he knows, he's not ready to take care of it or to say that he has lost. Me, the seller, I did that. So imagine this big risk involved in this transaction. Do you think that you can get a sheep as cheap as possible? You will get it cheaper, relatively lower to what is in the market in the city. But at the same time, you should know that you will not get it so cheap like cheap armor. If you want it so cheap, I will ask you a question. If something happened to the sheep before it arrives, are you ready to cover the cost? Therefore, if you want to buy a sheep from the village and you want it as good as possible, you need to contact me and I'll get it delivered to you. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.